When rain falls in Austin, it usually doesn't take long for some local low water crossings to flood, creating dangerous conditions for drivers. New reporting from KUT shows just how long it'll take the city to fix or replace those crossings. Joining us now to talk about his reporting is KUT transportation reporter Nathan Bernier. Nathan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Darnisha.
So the headline of your story reads, fixing Austin's low water crossings would take 200 years at the current pace. Now that is a wild stat there. Just how many crossings is the city trying to fix, and why has it taken so long?
Great questions. I mean, the city has about 70 low water crossings. I mean, that is a small fraction of the total number of low water crossings in Central Texas. There's more than 2,000, at least posted on ATX floods alone. Now, the city's 70 low water crossings, they're able to repair them on average at a rate of about one crossing every 3 years or so. So it's really simple math. At the current pace, it would take about 200 years to get it done. You ask why? Well, it's mostly a matter of money. A lot of the easier crossings to repair have already been fixed, that low-hanging fruit. And so what remains are the most difficult crossings to fix. And it just, fixing a single crossing can cost anywhere from several $100,000 to several $1 million. And the city only has so much resources, and drainage isn't always the top priority.
Interesting. And when rain falls, we always say the phrase, turn around, don't drown. What happens if the city doesn't replace these crossings?
Well, as little as 6 inches of fast-running water can just sweep away a small car from the road. For a truck or an SUV, the National Weather Service says it's about 2 feet of rushing water. You can't always tell how deep the water is, though. So, the city does have gates at many of these crossings. The ones along Spicewood Springs Road by 360 are automatically controlled, but all of the rest requires a city employee to go out and shut it. They have to drive there. That takes time. So what happens is, they're posted on atxfloods.com. There are flood gauges so the city can tell which of these low water crossings are flooding, but it's going to be left to drivers to just make that call. As you say, turn around, don't drown, because it is one of the most dangerous places to be during flash flooding. In fact, according to the Texas A&M Transportation Institute, most flood deaths in Texas, at least up until these most devastating floods over the 4th of July, but prior to that, most flood deaths in Texas happen at low water crossings.
Wow, that's so interesting. So your reporting also looks at how Austin's low water crossing replacements compare to other cities. What did you find in that?
Well, there's a lot of cities in Flash Flood Alley, and some don't have nearly the resources of Austin. There are some smaller communities that can't afford to do much of anything. So I talked with the head of the Texas Floodplain Management Association, Chris Stubing, who's saying, at least Austin is doing something. The city is obviously going through its budget process right now, determining where it's going to allocate its money for the next year. There may even be a tax rate election coming up, possibly a bond election in 2026. Now, after flooding events like the one we just went through, things like low water crossings and drainage, they're very top of mind. But you go through a drought for a little while, and suddenly it doesn't seem like such a big priority to a lot of folks. So, time will tell how much this money the city wants to spend. But certainly the Watershed Protection Department with the city of Austin, they're the ones that fix these low water crossings. They've not had any bond money since 2018. So they've been just spending that down. They're almost done. And they get your drainage fee that you pay on your city utility bill, about $13 a month now, could go up to $14 in the next budget cycle. That is also a big source of money for the city to at least do the engineering and maybe some repairs for these low water crossings. But the big spends, really, it comes down to those bond funds. And that, of course, is paid for with higher property taxes. So it's a constant balancing act.
Hopefully they can find a quicker solution. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.